Hey guys, welcome to day 4 of the BatchLeads Masterclass presented by RJ Bates III. Excited for today and excited to finish up the entire masterclass. You guys have been awesome. Love some of the feedback that I've gotten through email, through my DMs. Just, that was the whole purpose of doing this, was to see people get excited and feel like they're being pointed in the direction and fully understand how to utilize this tool the same way that we do here at Titanium Investments. So it's been awesome so far. Because of how good this has been, I'm definitely going to be doing more master classes like this. I've really enjoyed this. Obviously, most of you that are on here, you follow me one way or another. And so I do a lot of live videos. The fun thing about this is that the difference between this and just a regular live video is that you guys are showing up on time. You're engaging, you're excited about the content. And then there's also a very specific goal each day for one of the sessions. And so I've really enjoyed the format of this. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed it as well. So far, I've seen a couple of questions that came in late yesterday in the chat here. Each day I'm emailing you the replay video. Okay. Now, you can also check the replays in the view schedule, and you can watch it here on AirMeet. But I am emailing each and every one of you a replay email. So make sure that you're getting those. If you haven't, please let me know in the chat so I can make sure that I get it to you. Yesterday's email was probably the lowest open rate. So I just want to make sure that those aren't starting to go to spam. Okay. Because we are blasting it out to all. I think we ended up with like 670 people that registered. So I want to make sure that each one of you are getting it and you're getting all of the content that you wanted. Okay. So that being said, so far through this process, we've set up our BatchLeads account. We put in the initial text templates, the quick replies. We integrated with Twilio yesterday. Hopefully you guys had no questions in regards to that. We also pulled our list. We went through how you could stack that and niche it down using the properties tab and showed you guys how to do that. We also showed you the tagging system, the naming of the campaigns, and then we also set up our initial text campaign after we did skip tracing, okay? So hopefully you guys are up to speed on where we are. So inside of our initial list that we pulled in Fort Wayne, Indiana, we had 2,367 records. Those are skip trace. So today's objective is we are going to set up a direct mail campaign with some of those records. I'm going to show you how we niche that down, how we kind of use our marketing budget very strategically when it comes to direct mail, as well as I'm going to show you the comping tool so we can be prepared for when we start sending out texts, and we'll probably send out some text messages today. All right. Bob says he's got a question from yesterday. You said to text the list, call the list, then hit it with motivated factors. Can you show how to hit it with motivated factors again? I can absolutely do that for you. Let me share my screen. All right. So, Bob, in here, if you go to your properties tab, now it doesn't make sense to do this because we only have one list in this account. This would be after you have multiple lists inside of your account. But what you would do is you would go to filter, you would go to skip trace, yes, apply that filter. So this shows you everything that's been skip trace. And then you could come here and say, okay, bankruptcy. I want all 105 bankruptcies. Select all that. There's your 105 selected. And then go to add to a campaign, SMS. And then in this circumstance, normally if we would have, all of our data in here, this would be nationwide. So we would call it nationwide acquisitions, bankruptcy, today's date. And that's how we would set up that campaign. Okay. All right. It says you can't see my screen. Huh. What are you seeing? Well, what was showing there? Because on my end, it was showing my screen. So, okay. Y'all can see the screen. Okay, good. So that's how. Let me just do it one more time just to make sure you guys saw that. Okay. Okay. Inside of here, let me refresh so we have a fresh way to do this. Inside of your properties tab, you would go to filter, skip trace yes. That's all of your skip trace data. You would select the motivating factor. So in this circumstance, bankruptcy. Select all, add to campaign, SMS, and then you're just going to name it nationwide acquisitions bankruptcy. Today's date. Okay. Pretty simple. And then that's what we do over and over and over again. Okay. Awesome. Any other questions about what we've covered so far in the first 3 days? I want to make sure that everyone's good. If they watched the replay or if they went and did it yourself. I mean, listen, the whole point in us doing it and breaking it down into these daily sessions is that you're also doing the same thing, right? You're going in, you're pulling your list, you're skip tracing, you're getting your campaign set up. I know some people had some questions about the list pulling, and so I think I got most of those answered. So I think we should be good, but I want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Brian says, after pulling lists and working them for some time and several months might go by, do you ever bother reorganize your records as the status of the records change, such as the property currently having liens, and then it would be foreclosure? So in that circumstance, we're always going to add the new tags. So I go through and I clean it up regularly. Like once a month, I'll go through and select all of the bankruptcies and add that tag. Select all of the liens, add that tag. Go to all the pre-foreclosures and add that tag. But in that, I would never remove a tag. And the thought process there is, and I touched base on this a couple days, is I want to understand the full story when I'm talking to a seller. So if they want to say, you know, hey, 2 years from now, hey, why are you reaching out to me? Well, according to my system, you know, we've seen that this property's been in pre-foreclosure. It's had liens. It was tax default. It was vacant. So it seems like there's been a rocky road going on, and that's why we're reaching out to see if you might be interested in selling the property. So maybe those tags aren't applicable when we're talking to them over the course of time, but it still is kind of telling us the story and maybe building a bridge between why we're reaching out to them and, you know, explaining to them why we think they would want to sell their house. Because that's really the main thing that we incur with, you know, sellers calling us is, you know, how did you get my information and why do you think I want to sell my house? So, Bob asks, are you hitting the nationwide for each factor after you text and call each list? So probably at least once a month. Yeah. So right now the main ones would be liens, bankruptcy, auction, tired landlords, and pre-foreclosure. Those are going to be the ones that we mainly hit over and over as far as cold calling and then the nationwide list. The other things that you could do there, Bob, is not necessarily pick a specific motivating factor, because you don't want to miss out on like the high equity absentees all the time, even though that is a very generic list that the majority of people are hitting. Another way that you can do that is instead of picking a specific motivating factor, you could say, hey, I want to hit everything that has 4 or more tags or 5 or more tags. And then, you know, you're really hitting someone that's highly motivated. So you can just do nationwide acquisitions 4+ tags. And then all you're doing on the filter is just selecting how many tags it has. All right, let's go ahead and let's get started. I want to start with the direct mail campaign. So the first thing that we have to do, because this is a new account and we're getting it set up, is we need to go to our profile. We need to go to mail settings. And we need to select our signatures. Okay, we need to create a signature. So friendly name. So this is just the name of it. Primary signature name. We're going to put RJ Bates III. We're going to upload our logo. So we've got our Titanium Investments of Indiana logo. Phone number. Okay, so the phone number, this is important. If you want to track your specific KPIs for direct mail, the system that we use is CallRail, which we go and we basically get a ghost number for them to call with an Indiana area code, and then it's forwarded to our office. So they feel like they're calling an Indiana phone number or an Indiana office, and then we could track and see, okay, we sent out 1,000 mailers and we received 50 phone calls. So our response rate on this was 5%, and we could kind of track our KPIs in that regard. Okay. For the sake of this, I'm going to just put in our office number. Okay. My email, website, titaniumbuys.com, zip code. Let me look up a Fort Wayne zip code, 46774. Address line. So this line would be the address where your mail would be returned. Okay. And one of the most important things to understand about direct mail is the return mail to you is some of the hottest leads that you can get. Okay. So anytime you get a postcard sent back to you, that should go into its own individual list where one of your acquisitions managers is trying to contact them. It's just kind of a signal of another form of motivation, right? It obviously there's something going on here where the mail is being bounced back. Who knows the reason why, but we've seen that those could be some of the hottest leads. Okay. So let's do 8101 Club Road. All right, so there is our signature. Basic information. Okay, so we've created a signature. Now we're going to go to our template. The one that I like to use for direct mail is going to be this option right here. I just find it visually pleasing, and it's also generated results. Some of these other ones, like this, I find it to be a little bit cheaper and cheesier looking. I've tried this one right here as well. Didn't get the same type of results. I don't think that there's any problem with using this one or this one. I just don't like the purple as much as the red and the yellow. So this is going to be the one that we use here. So we're going to select template 8. Okay. Don't need to really change anything here. Only thing I'm going to change is delete those first 4 things. I don't know what that means. RIR. It didn't make any sense to me. All right. Is there anything else that we need to change here? Mailing first name. Got your information. Got our little logo, name, phone number, email. I think we are good. We're going to save that. So any questions in regards to getting this set up where we have our signature and the template? Pretty simple little process, right? So in order for us to set up our first campaign, we're going to go back to our properties tab. We're going to go to filter. We're going to select our list and apply the filter. Okay. Now, in this circumstance, when we get to direct mail, I do not want to mail the entire list. Okay. Direct mail is the most tread carefully with saying this. It's one of the most expensive forms of marketing for real estate investors. Okay. But it can also generate some of the most highest profitable properties that you're going to get. Okay. Whereas cold calling and SMS, that's where it's going to bring in the volume. This could be one of those scenarios where you land a whale, okay, from direct mail. Now, the key to direct mail is consistency. Okay. You don't want to give up on it. You want to continue to hit it over and over and over again. Okay. But what I'm going to do here is be very strategic about the ones that we're going to be hitting. Okay. So that's the decision that we're going to be making right now by looking at our data. Okay. So let me share our screen again. So looking at our quick filters down here at the bottom, we've got 113 bankruptcies, 10 auctions, 17 pre-foreclosures. Now, those are typically some of the most motivated people that need to sell, right? But I'm going to avoid the 10 auction, even though it's only 10, because we might be too late inside of that process. That needs to be something which we are going to be hitting via text message and cold calling. But I don't think that you have enough time to build up the momentum, especially with only 10. Okay. Now, through this entire process here, I'm going to say we're definitely going to hit the 113 bankruptcies. So we're going to select all. We're going to go to actions. We're going to go add to campaign direct mail. Okay. We're going to call this Fort Wayne, Indiana acquisitions, bankruptcy, today's date. So we're sending it today. Expected delivery date would be June 1st. We're going to select template 8. We're sending a postcard. Move forward. So we're going to be sending out 113 of these postcards right here, and that's going to cost us $51.98. Okay, we verified that everything is correct. Now, what we could do is we could also schedule it, and it's important to do that. So what we need to see here is the estimated drop day is going to be June 1st. That's the most important thing to keep in mind here. You want to make sure that whatever day your mail was being dropped, that you're going to be able to answer the phone and deal with the wave of phone calls. Now, in this circumstance, we're only sending out 113. So it's not going to be a huge amount of volume, but you still just want to make sure that you're not missing any of these phone conversations. So with that being on a Wednesday, that's perfectly fine. We're going to go to create campaign. Oh, send now. Create campaign. Boom. Status is it's in queue. And it will let us know once it has been sent. Okay. Now, one of the things I need to do here, I need to add some money. Okay. Are there any questions about that process? The direct mail process is pretty simple, right? Now, what I want to do now is go back. That's only the bankruptcies. I also want to send out to the pre-foreclosures, and I also want to send out to the vacant. Okay. Now, do you guys have any questions in regards to this process? It's pretty simple, right? Okay. Go back to our filter. We're going to send out the 17 pre-foreclosures. Okay. Template 8. Boom. Just like that. Over and over and over again. How long did that take me? 30 seconds to do the second campaign there. It's a very simple process once you get it going over and over and over again, right? And so the main thing there is that we're hitting the highly motivated sellers that we know are going to want to sell, and we're just trying to generate maybe a couple of leads with throwing a couple of extra bucks at it from our marketing budget. Okay. All right. Let's go back. I want to go ahead. We're going to start showing you the comping tool. But before we do that, I want to go to our SMS campaign. I want to go ahead and send out some text messages. See if we can generate something here. Okay. So I'm going to send out a few and 25. Now, the comping tool, there's a couple different ways that you can get to the comping tool. Because we don't have anything inside of our inbox yet, I'm not going to select from here and go to the properties tab. I'm actually just going to go to list search. Okay. This is one of the ways that if it's not from a text campaign or something that is inside of your batch leads, this is where you go to the comping tool. Okay. Does anybody have a specific property that's watching right now that they would want me to comp? Or do you guys just want me to pick a random one? I'll give you a couple minutes to see. Just drop a yes in the chat if you guys have a specific property that you want me to comp real quick. All right. No one has any properties they want me to comp. All right. Well, then I'm just going to pick one. Let's do, here, I'll pick one off of our board. Come here. All right. So this property is sold. 117 Hunter Circle, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Okay. So you type in the address, you search. Oh, my chat wasn't moving. You guys have been talking this whole time. I was about to say, damn, dude, you guys are super quiet today. I keep asking questions. Holy mother of God, I missed like 75 messages. All right. Now, that was funny. I was like, well, note to self, Brittany, if you ever want to put a crowd together, talk about direct mail. And no, you guys were over here freaking chatting it up, and it just wasn't moving on my end. All right, let me go back here. All right, Phil Long's got a property, 2316 Walnut Bottom Road. Let's do that. 2316 Walnut Bottom Road in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Let's hope Carlisle, Pennsylvania has some population. All right. So we select the address over there and it pulls up. Right here is the comps tab. So first thing that I'm going to do, and this is anytime I comp anything, okay? I always come and the objective that I have right from the beginning is I want to see how many properties, how many comps can I get right directly surrounding the property. So I'm going to remove the year built. I'm going to ignore that. I'm going to ignore bedrooms, ignore bathrooms. I'm going to ignore the square footage, okay? And then I'm going to go to located within a quarter of a mile just to see what happens. So I'm ignoring everything, and I'm just going within a quarter mile, and I add that filter, okay? In this circumstance, it gave me one property, 2332 Walnut Bottom Road. So same road, okay? Our square foot is 1,700. The one that sold was 1,300. Same lot square foot, basically same year built. And the price was $291,900. Now, that property was smaller. Okay, so what I want to do is say, let's go out half a mile, add that filter. Let's see if we get some similar type numbers here. Okay, so we've got 0.38 miles away, 3 bed, 3 bath. So it's got an extra bathroom in this one. It's 650 square feet larger, smaller lot square foot. It's 15 years newer. $359. Okay. So from that perspective, what I'm seeing here is we've got a 300, 290, 359. They both had 3 baths, and we have 2 baths, according to what Batch has got here. Okay. If I were like on the phone with a seller, the first thing that I would do is just I'm going to mentally put my ARV at 300,000. Could it be higher? Could we sell this for 325 or 315? Probably. But for the sake of being on the phone with a seller, trying to identify a safe, conservative ARV, I'm going to put this at 300,000 and I'm going to negotiate backwards. The other thing that I'm going to take into consideration is this property that sold for 172. That's closer to this 1,300. So this is kind of what I could consider the as-is comp, right? Even though the numbers aren't completely accurate on it, it's going to give me a general idea that there's someone out there that was willing to buy probably something that was distressed for that. If this property with similar square footage went for close to 300,000. Okay. So in this case, I'm just going to put the ARV at 300,000 and start my negotiations from there. Okay. Don't really do a whole lot more inside of the comping tab. If you want to see my partner, Cassandra, go through and comp something for 35 minutes, you can go watch the Comp Queen show on my YouTube channel. She gets real nitty gritty with it. I don't have the mental bandwidth to do that, because most of the time if I'm comping something, it's because I'm on the phone with a seller. So I've got to make a quick, decisive judgment on what the ARV is going to be on the property, and let's start the negotiations. Okay. James Dunwoody says, when comping nationwide, do you use the same formula for each one? If so, what is that? Well, when comping, there's not necessarily a formula. I'm literally just trying to find that blueprint property. Hopefully 3 of them. As far as a formula goes, that would be if we were making an offer, and no, it's not going to be the same across the country. Cedar Rapids, Iowa is going to want, properties at 65% of ARV minus repairs. Try to do that in Phoenix, Arizona, you wouldn't get a property in, 10 years. So each one is going to be different based around. That's why Investor Lift is also an extremely powerful tool, because it shows you where people are buying flips at, what price they're buying them at. Okay. Let's go back here. We've got a couple other comps that we can do. Mark Rice says 1822 Will Scarlett, Arlington, Texas. I hope this is a lead, and I hope you sell it to me. Now, I will say the non-disclosure states, it's a little bit trickier to comp with any of the comping tools, whether that's, PropStream, Batch, whatever. Typically speaking for us, because Cassie's a realtor, we would just comp this on the MLS, but I want to show you guys how to use this. So again, ignore the year built, bed baths, ignore the square footage. Okay. Located within a quarter mile. Let's just see what we get. We're chock full of comps. Okay. So this is too many comps. We've got 4 tabs. So now we need to come back and we need to add some filters. Okay. What's the first thing that I want to add is square footage. Okay. Can we get within 10%? And then can we get within 10 years on the year built? So the first filters that I'm adding, because we have a lot of comps available to us, are year built and the square footage on the property itself. Still 2 tabs, still too much. Okay. So let's go down to within 5%. Let's go within 5 years. Okay. Now we've got a good sampling. Okay. Hold on. Why is my square? Oh, shit. I'm doing lot square footage. Damn it. It's okay. There's only 500 people watching. It's not that big of a deal to mess up in front of everybody. All right. Let's do square foot to 10%. See what we get here. There we go. Perfect. All right. So obviously this 1,500 and 1,450, that was rent comps. Okay. So we've got another 900 square foot, similar lot square footage, same year built, 250,000, 3-1. We're 3-1. So right off the bat, I'm feeling like 250,000 is going to be a good number for us. And this property sold, I believe, on January 4th for 194. Is that accurate? Yep. Sell amount 194 on January 10th, 2022. Interesting. So if this is a lead, you're going to have to take that into consideration, because obviously they just bought this for 195. You said you're trying to do, oh, that was someone else. So in this case, I mean, right across the street here, we can see pictures of this property. Not overly rehabbed. I mean, I wouldn't say this is in amazing condition. I'm gonna say, I mean, they rehabbed this bathroom. I'm gonna say the ARV on this is 250. The only other thing that I could do here is loosen up the criteria a little bit to see what else we get. We've got a 994 with a bigger lot. It sold for 213. But this one right here for 250, I mean, that's the one I'm going to point to and say we can recreate that pretty easy, and it sold right across the street. Okay. All right. Braxton's got a fun question. Braxton says, I texted a lady and she asked if I'm a wholesaler. What do I say? Well, this is where, as a business owner, you have to determine moving forward what is your answer to that, right? You have to act in the fashion that you are going to have a team of 20 people underneath you. So whatever you say today is what you're going to want the guy that works for you a couple months from now. And then, you know, what the 20 people underneath you are going to say 5 years from now. So for me, I just made it real simple. I just tell them the truth, whatever that is. Okay. So the reality of that situation is I'm an investor. I do fix and flips. I do own rentals. I do seller financing, but I do also wholesale. And the majority of our properties, we do wholesale. Some situations, you know, it says you're in St. Leonard. I don't know where that is. I'm in Fort Worth. If I get a lead in Detroit, Michigan, and the seller asks me, are you a wholesaler? We tell them yes. This actually just happened yesterday, so it's a great time for you to ask this question. The seller had 2 properties in Detroit, Michigan that she wanted to sell. We agreed on the price. She asked if we were a wholesaler, and my acquisitions agent, Robert, said, yes, we are, and we will be wholesaling this. So that was a problem for her. It was a problem because she had been burned by another wholesaler and had some issues where that wholesaler locked the property up and then posted it on Zillow for sale as if he was the owner. And that really bothered her because that was not the conversation that they had. That wholesaler was not transparent and honest about what he was going to be doing with the property. And so that caused a lot of issues. And so in our circumstance, the difference here is we told her, no, we're not going to post on Zillow. She wanted proof of funds. We sent proof of funds. She wanted earnest money. We explained we will put earnest money down after we do our inspection to verify the condition of the property. That's written into our contract. The other thing is that we are going to wholesale your property, and then we explain how we're going to wholesale your property and why she should work with us. We talked about some of the systems that we have, including Investor Lift. Well, we have Investor Lift, and we have access to this many cash buyers in your zip code and also in your city. We know that they're looking for properties, and we feel like we can move these two properties fairly quickly. Yes, we're going to make a profit off of that, but we've already agreed on the price. So that doesn't impact your number whatsoever. It's just our job to go out and make our profit. And so that made her feel a lot better through the whole scenario. And so she was willing to work with us, and she signed the contract. So will it always work out that way? No, but nothing does when it comes to acquisitions. So if you lose a lead because you tell them you're a wholesaler, I'd much rather lose the lead because I tell them the truth than lie and then get a bad reputation for that, right? So from that aspect, I would just tell them the truth, Braxton. Okay. Let's see. Let's go back and see if someone else had another property to comp here. I think that's all the comps that I'm seeing. All right. I'm going to scroll down here to the bottom. Let's go check and see if someone responded to us. All right. Look at that. 25 texts, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 responses. So we're going to go to our quick reply and hit them with the generic response. Quick reply over and over and over again. So this person says wrong phone number. Wrong phone number. Boom. We'll wait on those responses. Brandon says, do you dispo all of your properties through Investor Lift? Yes and no. I mean, I would say the vast majority of them now are going to come through the different tools that are involved in there. But we pull our data inside of Batch Leads. We will skip trace it. We will send out text campaigns. We'll also cold call. For a very long time, we had a single VA dedicated to nothing but cold calling for cash buyers. We've kind of relaxed on that a little bit since we've had Investor Lift because we are able to build the cash buyers list honestly faster just through sending out our properties on the platform, right? But no, it's not the sole way that we do it because where Investor Lift is extremely powerful is in the large metropolises. So if you go outside in a rural location or a smaller city and no one's really built up who the buyers are there, then it's kind of a useless tool. And that's where, hey, pulling that data inside of batch and texting and cold calling is extremely powerful. All right. So do you guys have any questions so far on the comping tool or the direct mail? Just want to make sure that we're clear on what we're doing and how the tool is being used. All right, let me show you here. This is very important when it comes to our inbox, okay? So we sent out an initial text template. They said, who is this? That's the ideal response that we want to get. We hit them with the response, the first quick reply, and then they said no, okay? Now, what this told us is they are the decision maker of this property. This button right here, verified owner, means I will no longer text message any phone numbers associated with this address. And then I move it to not interested. So again, that saves me from sending text messages out to the husband or the wife or the son and getting told the same thing, right? And it's very important for us to save the amount of text messages that we're sending, okay? Now, Looks like we got a lead already. It's rented. I can sell 1013 Nutman. Okay. Okay, so this is cool because the reason why he wouldn't want to sell South Wayne Avenue is because it's rented. Well, I need to let him know. I don't mind buying tenant occupied properties. But then because he changed the narrative in this conversation of, hey, I could sell 1013 Nutman, I'm just going to ask him flat out right off the bat, well, how much would you want for that? Because it sounds to me like there's motivation to selling that property. Okay. So let's go see if we can do some reconnaissance on this property. 1013 Nutman Avenue, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Okay, we're going to go to our list search. Boom. Go to our comps. Okay. Ignore year built. Ignore the square footage. Get me within a quarter mile. Add that filter. Too many. Okay. Let's go year built within 5 years. Square foot within 10. Boom. 3-1. We've got that. We need to ignore the 180. Okay. All the year builts are pretty similar. Lot square foot, we're pretty small, but our highest comp had the same, pretty much the same lot square footage. We're bigger. Nice. I like that. This one was 180, 230. I mean, we can easily say, I mean, technically speaking, we could say that we're up there in that 230 range. Why did the 180? Ooh, the 180 is not sold. See in the yellow, what does yellow mean? Where does it tell me? Yellow is pending. Okay. So this is pending. What did this 230 list for? List for 185, sold for 230. The one that's pending is at 180. So there's a chance that it's also going to sell for close to this 230. So let's just say we're good at 230. Okay. Let's go back to our inbox. Okay, we're going to verify owner. We're going to move him to hot lead. Wrong number. Go back to our campaign. Let's send out 25 more. Okay, and then let's look this one up real quick in case he comes back. We've got an ARV of 230 on Nutman. We're going to go built within 10 years. We're going to go square foot within 10%. We're going to go within a quarter mile. That should get us plenty. Boom. Almost too much. But within 5 years, square foot 7%. Perfect. No, still too much. 5% of square foot. Okay. So in this one, a little baby lot, 2,800 square feet. Jeez. Year built's a good square foot. Need something right at 12. There we go. 175. Do we have any baby little lots? This one. That's obviously not rehabbed. We can go 170, 175 on this one. Look at that. It's got a lien. What'd I tell you about liens? Popping. Sewer lien. Who cares? Go to our list / tags. Liens. Well, I'm saying you gotta be hitting those liens, man. I mean, it's just it's the most popping one right now. All right, let me answer some of these questions. Brandon says, re-ask this question. My bad. In your experience with Batch's motivating factors, example, bankruptcy, pre-foreclosure, etc., what percentage would you say those records are accurate when you speak with these sellers? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if there's a sewer lien on this property. I'm not going to ask him. All I know is he says he's got a house that he wants to sell and it's under the tag lien. I don't know, Brandon. I don't get wrapped up in the minutia of those details, to be honest with you. Just curious in this hot market, why you're going out 12 months and not closer to 6 months to get a more accurate ARV. I don't feel like my ARVs weren't accurate. It's going to include your 6 months. I'm finding the closest property to it. I mean, I guess I could if you want to, but if you would like for me to, let me do that. Let's see. On this one, we said it was 230, right? No, 170 on this one. So let's see what that changes. It's old in 6 months. 5 years. So probably still going to come down to the closest comp to us. I'm probably still going to set on the same number. So the pictures on Zillow give a reasonably good idea of the house condition. The garage needs a new roof and possibly outside paint. Oh, it sounds amazing. One wall inside, the house needs paint. The carpets have been cleaned out, but they might need to be changed. Overall, it needs only minor work to sell in the open market or to rent it. Like he's watching my masterclass and went ahead and answered the 4 questions. I don't want you to answer that one. I want you to tell me how much you want for it. Can you explain why you don't opt out the recently solds? Well, if I'd opted out this person right here, what if they have another property they want to sell? The avatar of the sellers that we really are punching in are mainly going to be some not professional landlords. It's going to be like a huge majority of the avatar inside of our list. So I don't want them, especially if they're selling, especially if they just sold one. There could be other properties that they have to sell. Again, I don't ever want to try to find ways to limit the data accumulation. So, I mean, I'm always trying to accumulate more data and not outthink this whole process. Try to make it as simple as possible. A simple process that is repeatable and it works. That's the main thing. It works. Like we're talking to a guy right now about 2 houses and 25 text messages. That's why I don't do that. Let's see. What is the difference between a pre-foreclosure and an auction? How much time do you have to work with once the status changes, does your marketing approach or strategy change significantly? Well, pre-foreclosure is just that they're buying and they're in the pre-foreclosure status. Auction means there's an auction date set. And so that's why I say on direct mail, we might be a little bit too late. Each one of those is going to be different. For example, say in like Alaska, a pre-foreclosure, they're going to let you know, and the auction date's going to be set like 60 to 90 days before the actual auction date. Whereas inside of Texas, it could be, a matter of a couple of weeks. That the auctions here happen the first Tuesday of every month. And it just depends on when the auction date gets set. Okay. Brandon asks, going back earlier to direct mail, is there a tag you add to each of the leads you're mailing to so you can look back and see that you sent the mail and how many times, or are you tracking separately? So that's a great question. We're definitely not going to add a tag. Okay. Start there. Tags are only for tracking the motivating factors. Okay. But there is a way to track what you're asking. And that is inside of the actual properties tab, the actual property itself, property details, okay, under activity. So the timeline of this property, imported in, skip traced, shows you the date, data update, SMS sent, shows you the SMS that you sent, SMS received, shows you that, SMS sent, SMS received, SMS sent, SMS received, SMS sent, and it'll keep going. If this included direct mail, it would show you, hey, you sent them a postcard. So this activities tab will forevermore show you the activity of this property that you always have. Now, if that tab is not filthy, I don't know what is. I mean, that is just disgusting. Okay. Tracking everything that you do for every property forevermore. Beautiful, baby. How much would you want for it? $102,178. That should give you about $10K for repair / upgrades and $10K for profit. $10K for profit, huh? So let's go. 1013 Nutman. He says $10K for thought we set the ARV at this at 230. Let's do it Brandon's way. 6 months. We've got the 180. This is the one that's pending, right? Let's get our sold. I mean, this has got to be no thanks. $102,000. So we can get this for $102,000 and the ARV is 230. Let's lock it up. Oh, let's do this. What's the square footage on that? 1440. $230,000. I'm 70%. 161. 1440 minus 35,000 repairs. 126. Whoop. Yelling at him. Boom, baby. So he said the pictures on Zillow give a reasonably good idea of the house condition. It's blue. Oh, yeah, baby. Well, if you had any questions about this free class that you're taking, if it works, there you go. 25 text messages, and we're getting a deal in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Is Josh here? Josh ain't here? God dang it. He was the one that picked Fort Wayne, Indiana. Yes. He is? Tell him to come here. Josh! $25 text messages. Contract. Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Really?
Look at this. This property right here. Nice and clean. Pretty. Right? Look at this.
I could get this sold today.
I know. You're going to sell. You're going to call them. We're getting it for $102, $738. Something. Yeah, he did the random number thing.
Yeah.
But you know I love.
Yeah.
It's the thing. It works. I literally just texted him and I said, I'm a fan of random offer amounts. I can do that price. What's a good email to send you the agreement? I think the ARV is $230.
Really?
We have one right down the road that sold for $230, and then another one that's pending at $180. But the one that sold for $230 was originally listed at $180, and it sold for $230. So I'm wondering if the other one's pending at $180 will also show $230. So
I can get Ryan and Colleen out there today.
Yeah. Once I get the email, I get it sent off. I'll let you know.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you for telling me Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Yeah, they made an offer on the other one we had. So
did they?
Yeah, today.
Nice. All right. What's my exit strategy for the house? I'm gonna sell it today. I'm gonna wholesale it. We're gonna call our buyer in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and he's gonna buy it. He's got a buyer score in investor lift of like 165,000. And in that circumstance, you get 1,000 points for every property that you buy. So just an investor lift of the properties they know, that means he's bought like 160 houses or something. Pretty much if you call them and you say, hey, we've got a property, they go out and they view it and then they buy it right there. So can you follow me with that? He's literally going to call the buyer and say, hey, we're getting this property under contract. And then they're just going to go see it and make us an offer. We don't even tell them a price. They just make an offer. So I need you guys to do me a favor, okay? 25 text messages, and we got a deal. This shit's for free, okay? You legitimately didn't have to buy anything, okay? So a couple things. A, I need you to fucking do this, okay? Like, I need you to go get you a batch account. I need you to follow along, and I need you to do this, okay? And then I need you to tag me and post whenever you actually get shit, okay? Second thing is, I need everyone to talk about this freaking class, okay? So can we, everybody right now, can you take a picture of your screen, take a video, something, tag me in an Instagram story, okay? That's all I'm asking. Just come on. This is a freaking cool moment, and I want to remember this moment. Okay? So, can you please take a video, take a picture, tag me on an Instagram story, okay? That's all I ask for. there's nothing else that I could give you today that's going to be better than that. But what we are going to do is we're going to come back. We're going to get more houses under contract tomorrow, okay? Because it's my favorite thing to do. All right. So tomorrow it's all going to be about texting, going through that, doing more of this, locking deals down, getting them sold. Okay. 11:30 Central tomorrow. I did verify my son's game. He's going to be going on at 9:50 a.m. Central time. So we'll be going live at 11:30 a.m. Central. And yeah, we're just going to have fun. So please, I want to see as many Instagram stories. Listen, if you tag me in an Instagram story, I'm going to reshare it on mine. And also, just so you know, that's really good for your algorithm because people are going to click on it and then they're probably going to go follow you. So if you're wanting to build up your brand, it's a good way to do it because I've got 21,000 followers. So it'll probably help you as well. So go do that. I want to see as many as possible a day. And then we will see you tomorrow morning at 11:30 a.m. Central. Thank you, guys.